Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dry Bar Comedy Podcast, the podcast that's funny for everyone, where you get to hang out with some of your favorite dry bar comedians.
Like you, Jordan.
Like me. You've seen my couple specials, third one coming out. Not a big deal. Not about me today. But I am Jordan Macon. I'm joined by my co-host.
Taylor Nielsen, the co-host.
The co-host?
Yeah.
Does that make me host?
Well, you're also the co-host.
Well,
There's two.
I would say we're both a co-host. If you take
then I guess if only one of us can be, then I'm the co-host.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm a co-host still?
Yeah. And the co-host.
I'm gonna need to rework my contract here. But we have a fantastic show today.
A stellar show.
So if you're done yip yapping, I think we should get to the clip.
Let's cut the yip yap, get to the clip.
Okay.
Clip clap. Let's go. Cut the yip yap, get to the clip clap. Let's see who it is today.
I remember I was dating a girl and we were getting really serious, and she looked at me one day. She's like, "Paul, you have to understand something. If we end up together, I don't do dishes." And I'm like, You don't do dishes?" She's like, "No, I can't do them anymore." And I was like, "Why? What's wrong with dishes?" She's like, "Here's the thing. When I was a baby, my mom would do the dishes all the time, and then one day she just decided that I have to start doing the dishes. And I've been doing them every day since, and I can't anymore. I'm done." I could tell it meant a lot to her. She was like, went through something. And I was like, "Listen, baby, sweetheart, Pop-Tart, I got you. I will take..." "Oh, I'm good with the pet names. Relax." I digress. I said, "Sweetheart, if we end up together, I will do the dishes every day. You will never touch a dish for the rest of your life." And she was touched. I could tell. Tear right down her cheek. She's like, "Sweetie, that is the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me. What can I do for you? What can I take off your plate? How can I lighten your load?" I said, "That's easy. I'm tired of wiping my own butt. My mom did it for me when I was a baby, and then one day she just decided that I have to start doing it. And I've been doing it every day since, and I'm done." We did break up, but she never complained about the dishes. Thank you guys so much.
All right. You know who it is. His 2 dry bar specials have made you laugh, singled out, and positive thinking. Give it up for Paul Sheffield.
Paul.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks.
Happy to be here. This is a great
Happy
thing.
to have you.
Thanks for driving all the way down. You don't live very close.
No,
It's probably an hour commute for you.
it is worth it. Worth every minute.
Thanks.
Gives me time to just get excited.
What'd you do on the way down? Did you listen to our podcast to get ready for it, or?
No, I didn't. No, I absolutely didn't. I listened to NF, some Christian rap. You get me in the mood.
NF?
Get you
NF.
hyped up. Yeah, I know NF. Do
You don't know NF?
No.
Oh, you're missing out. It's
He's like
hard, but
he's like a Christian
respectful.
Eminem.
Yep. Yes, that is exactly.
Christian Eminem.
You nailed it without even ever hearing a song.
I've heard some Christian rap before. I'm versed.
have.
I'm cultured. Hilarious clip.
Thank you.
And you were telling us beforehand this recording led to some wild events in your life. Big life changes in your life.
Absolutely. No, this was a fun special for me, but it was also a very intimidating special because, little known fact, I was dating my now wife at the time. We were getting serious, and I actually met her parents at that recording of the special. We were getting serious. I had met her siblings the week before, and I think I passed the test. So then her parents were like, "Well, when do we get to meet him? When do we get to meet him?" And I was busy because I was about to record my second special. And my wife's like, "Why don't my parents just come?" And I was like, I don't know if that's like the best way to meet your in-laws for the first time. But I was like, all right, I guess we're doing it. We were serious enough. We were looking at rings, but we were just dating at the time. So I met my in-laws after making fun of ex-girlfriends for 15 minutes on stage. I was like, this isn't going to be any more the material that I do, I promise.
So that joke was not about her.
No. And my wife, she goes to lengths making sure people know that that's not her. It was
funny.
the girl I was dating before. And it's true. That is not, I want to make sure she knows and the world knows that is not my wife. She wants everyone to know that. It was not her. It was the girl I was dating before. But that was very close to true story.
Now, did that get in your head when your girlfriend's parents that you're meeting for the first time were in the audience?
No.
No.
Because I got married at 37. I was very much in a take it or leave it vibe at that point. Like I got married a little older, and I was like, listen, They're going to know I'm a comedian. Might as well just rip this Band-Aid off. And it's a very clean set. So I was like not worried. I was like, they're going to see a nice sold out show on their home turf because they're from Orem. And I feel like it was better than them seeing like me doing like an opening set. I'm like, hey, at least, it's a special. It's something cool.
Yeah,
so I was like, what
awesome.
better show if this works out for them to see than a dry bar recording special because it happens so rarely. So I was like, on the one hand, proud. On the other hand, like while I was on stage, I was like, I didn't think about doing this in front of potential in-laws, but here we go.
It's good they saw you. I think because it's hard when people find out you're a comedian. And then at least for me, when people find out I'm a comedian, in my brain, I'm thinking they are thinking, but how funny is he really?
Oh, 100%.
So at least they saw you do the comedy, so they didn't have to like kind of gauge if you're actually good at this or if it's just like a hobby or, what I mean?
Like if they had met you a month ago and they knew you did comedy and it's building up this thing and then it's like, okay, he's been saying he's a comedian for so long.
Yeah.
Let's see if he actually is.
And that was part of it. So it did put some pressure on the second special because like her siblings came too, like the whole family, like everyone got to see me perform for the first time.
Right.
So that was hard.
But I'm sure they were complimentary.
They were very complimentary. It all worked out. We got married, and honestly, the second special it released like on the anniversary of our first wedding anniversary. So it was like a year and like we recorded it while we were dating, and then it released like well after the marriage. So everyone like gets to see the special thinking I'm still single, and that's not the case.
You're living a lie now, man.
I am.
Oh, yeah, I got to redact some of those old jokes.
But I love that for the special though, because like that's the last time I'm performing them. So like it was kind of like
that's
goodbye
cool.
to a phase of life.
Goodbye to a phase of life to
That's
this
cool.
material, and it kind of got me started working on marriage material.
Right.
Hopefully for a third special someday. But it was fun. It was actually perfect. Because like I was done with that material anyway, it was kind of a nice send off for it.
That's awesome.
Do you think her parents saw you dissing all of your exes and told her you have to marry him or else he will destroy you and you'll have no say in the content? I think it sealed the deal.
I did get the finger wag from her mother, like, you're not going to make jokes like that about her. And I was like, well, if we get married, then I definitely won't. Like, that's on her.
I've seen your new material, and she's going to be disappointed.
No, they've come and seen me after that. We have a good relationship, so it all worked out.
Were they from out of town? Why hadn't you met yet, or was it just?
Well, no, I mean they live here in Orem.
Oh, okay.
And I am obviously in Salt Lake, so it was a little harder coordinating with schedules. And I had met her siblings the week before. We were at the 2-month mark of like officially dating, so it was kind of new, and so it hadn't happened yet.
Yeah. But now you're the comedian in the world of family, which is always a weird thing.
In the world of family,
just
yes.
like when you enter a new family, like Jordan or Paul's a comedian.
Yeah.
That's how you get introduced all the time.
100%, I am the comedian in the family.
I think you own the mantle well.
Thank you. I don't think I've ever. Are you the comedian in your family?
Yeah.
There's not like competition in your guys' family, is there?
I mean, there's funny people in my family,
That's
but
not
like,
the same.
But as far as actually being a comedian, like doing it all the time, then yeah, it's me.
You're looking deep into my eyes as you're saying this.
Jordan and I are also in the same family.
Yeah,
We're married into the same family, so it's
No, you didn't. That's a lie.
that'd be awesome.
family couldn't handle two comedians of our prowess.
Oh yeah, you got the dish. You got the dishes jokes there.
Yep.
I've had some. I mean, I feel like that's a universally relatable topic.
Yeah.
Either girlfriends, roommates, who you have a dishes power struggle, dishes.
Yeah. A chore power struggle.
It's
in general.
it's tough to figure it out.
With roommate, well, the problem is there's so much territory with roommates.
Yeah.
As opposed to a marriage where you're sharing and you're in it together. Roommates, you're not ever in it together in any facet except rent. Like that's the only thing that you guys, and even then it's divided to the penny. So dishes never was a good thing with roommates because then it turns into a challenge of who can go longer without doing dishes instead of who's just going to do the dishes.
Yeah,
Right.
I had when I got married. I'm a person that I don't mind some dishes in there in the sink. They can sit there for a minute.
Agreed.
And
Isn't that what a sink is for?
Yes, that's what I thought.
My wife does not agree.
My wife does not agree either.
When she comes home, if there's dishes in it's done. Before she changes,
Yeah.
it's done.
So I've learned I have to, like, not all the time, but I will take care of it quicker than I would normally take care of things. And I think in a marriage there's some compromise there, because my wife also thinks that everything needs an away place, which I had never even heard that phrasing before. To me, tables are there for stuff to sit on.
I think that's a woman thing. My wife's the same way. She will shove anything into any drawer at any time to get it off of the counter, off the table. I don't know. That might be a nesting thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But ironically,
we live, we learn.
We didn't like have to do the chore swap per se. Carly and I cook. She does not like cooking. I like cooking, so we've divided, and she does do the dishes. So she does dishes, but I do the cooking. I take care of all that, and we have no problem. We've never fought ever about it. It worked out perfectly.
Imagine if you would stay with that ex-girlfriend and you would have been cooking and cleaning.
A nightmare.
Oh man,
A nightmare.
Did you have a dish story? I feel like you were leading into a dish story.
Yeah, that was all just a segue to tell my own story. No,
I still wants to leave the dish thing. I knew you had a story. I want to hear it.
No, it's just roommate. There's extremes, right? There's the like everyone understands. Yeah, a few dishes can be in the sink, but I had one roommate who would make he was a cook, but a really messy cook, and would just leave demolish the kitchen. There's stuff splattered everywhere. He would make a big bowl of banana pudding. And I'm talking this like a punch bowl of banana pudding.
Why did you put that in quotes? Was it not actually banana pudding?
I never tried it.
Oh. Banana pudding.
But it was made out of bananas. I think he called it something different, but this big punch bowl. And then he would just put it on the bottom shelf of the fridge. It would take up a whole level of the fridge. And then no top on it. So then like whatever's on the top falls into this banana pudding. And
wait, like from the fridge? Like what are you putting in the fridge that's falling into the pudding?
like if something falls
Just
off.
loose crackers and stuff.
You
whatever.
just throw crackers in there and just like
No,
deal
like
with this later.
like crispy stuff on the side of a bowl or whatever falling in.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Like
can
that
see
happens.
that.
Fair enough.
And
Adding texture to the pudding.
That fridge was wild.
and it all adds to the pudding. It's
You never tried the pudding.
Mystery pudding. You never
No,
once tried
how would I try this big bowl of pudding?
Well, it's just
Why-
sitting there
it's-
with no
yeah.
top on it.
Listen, a poor kid with a roommate. You take what you can get.
Yeah.
Was he eating this much banana pudding?
Yeah, how long
Was
was
he-
it?
He was
it was
making
his
it on a regular basis. I don't know.
It was life sustaining. It's probably protein banana pudding.
I just feel like even banana pudding, it's gonna brown a little bit pretty quickly.
Yeah,
I feel
it
like
gets that skin on the top.
yeah.
I think there's a problem there. Like
Yeah, it was.
You called
I
him
mean, it
a
was
cook,
gross.
but did he do anything else besides
Yeah.
banana pudding?
Yeah, he would make chicken and whatnot.
banana chicken.
His name was Steve, spelled with 3 E's. Shout out to Steve and love Steve. And
I will say probably my biggest horror stories from roommates wasn't even dishes. Like so many weirder things happened. Like one time I went out of town to do comedy and came back, and when I got into my room, like my bed wasn't the same. You know how it is, like it was made, but it was like, no, I didn't do that. It looks disheveled made. That wasn't. And I go out to my roommate at the time, I was like, hey man, did you sleep in my bed? Like, and he's like, no man, why would you even ask that? Why would you think that I would ever sleep in your bed? I've got my own bed. I
It's
was like,
perfectly made. I wouldn't have made it.
I was like, well, it looks different. It looks like someone slept in. He's like, oh, yeah, I actually had one of my old buddies stay with me over the weekend, so he slept in there.
No.
I was like, whoa. Like, first of all, like when I come out and ask if you slept in my bed, maybe you lead with, no, but someone else did. Not like,
yeah.
like, why did you make me have to keep deducing of like something happened here? He was like,
I would never do
I would
that.
never sleep in your bed, but I'd let other people.
Yeah.
Like it was just, and I was like, maybe run that by me. Like maybe we don't do that. And like, I don't know why I have to ask you to not let other people sleep in
running
my
your
bed.
place like a hostel.
Yeah, it was like, hey, my
hilarious.
roommate's gone for the weekend. Come chill at my place, man.
Yeah.
You can sleep in his bed. He's cool with it. Like dishes were the least of my worries there.
that's amazing.
Theo Vaughn has I don't know if it's a joke or something on a podcast talking about crashing at somebody else's house, and then when they left, going and getting into their bed, and there's something very low about being in another man's warmth.
Yeah, it's not good, man.
But I remember as a kid, that feeling, like if my parents went to work and I was home that day, I would go get in the bed, and the bed was so warm, and I liked that as a kid. But now that's weird to think about as an adult. Maybe I shouldn't have brought it up on the podcast. But
My dog does that.
My dog sleeps in bed with us.
When I leave, the dog will come and sit where I was sitting because it likes how warm
absolutely.
it is.
My dog will sleep and sit on clothes I've left on the floor. Like he won't just go anywhere. He will park it right on
That's
my
funny.
scent, I guess. Like he loves that.
yeah.
Does your dog do that?
What's your dog's name?
I call her Pip.
What's her real name?
Her full name's Pippa.
Pippa.
Which is two soft vowels, and I hate saying it. So I
Notice
call
the
her,
reluctance in there?
I call her Pip. I call her Pipperoni.
Pepperoni. Because it sounds like pepper.
Because it's a play on pepperoni.
I
Thank
like
you.
that.
Isn't there like a cartoon pig?
There's
That's Peppa.
Peppa Pig.
Oh, Peppa
Which-
Pig. That was
Not to be
close.
confused with my dog.
Pippa.
Pippa.
The dog. Pippa.
Have you ever seen that clip of who's the guy that's on Star Trek? The
Spock.
bald guy that's also plays
Oh.
Professor X.
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart.
Oh.
He was on SNL. I think this is a John Mulaney joke, maybe, but he introduces Salt and Pepper, the band.
Right.
And he goes, Salt and Pepper!
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I do think of that when I say Pippa. But my wife will often go to bed before me because I can be a night owl sometimes. But Pippa will go sleep in my spot.
Yeah.
And then I take her to bed. We put her in a kennel at night.
Smart.
But then I'm sleeping in my dog's warmth.
Smart.
And I don't really like
No, yeah.
I don't really like thinking about it.
Yeah.
But we have cats and the cats sleep on us. Something that bothers me less than a dog though.
Oh, really? So you let your cats into bed to sleep, but not your dog?
There's no keeping them out.
No.
Our cats, if we close the door, they are ripping the carpet.
Wow.
You can't discipline a cat.
You got 5.
Got 5.
Why? How do you,
Insane.
You know,
that means you thought 4 was fun. Do you know what I
well,
mean?
we went from 3 to 5.
Oh, you got 2 at the same time.
Yeah. And it wasn't. My wife, she told me we were fostering a litter, which we did. Sometimes they need you to foster it while they're healing or something. So we had 5 kittens just in a room in our house that we were taking care of. And then she went to go we actually found homes for 3 of them and not 2 of them. And my wife went to go take them back to the shelter to get homed. And because they had to go back for a little bit before the people pick them up. So she took all 5 back. And the person working at the shelter said, "Oh, so these 3 have homes?" And she was like, "Yes."
Oh, no.
And then she was like, "But these 2 don't have homes?" And then my wife started sobbing because animals mean too much to her. And she said, "No, they do have a home." And they never left, which I was pretty sure. But the thing is, I don't want to make it seem like I'm annoyed because I actually do like the cats.
You love them. I know
Yeah,
you do.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't hide it.
Yeah. But they
I
do
feel like
sleep
you
on
resent
me.
the dog more than the cats. I think
Yeah,
you're a cat guy.
the dog I wasn't excited about.
Yeah.
We had to overcome things. I do like Pippa now. If people ask, because at the beginning I was very anti-dog about it, and people will say, "Oh, well, have you overcome that?" And I'm like, I like Pippa a lot. I just wish she lived somewhere else.
A distant friend.
I
that
wish
you
she had
just
her.
saw
I wish
once
she
in a
came
while.
over during the day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we didn't have to worry about it if we're going out of town or something. She had her own
That's
place.
basically like how cats are, right? They basically live somewhere else. Just
Yeah,
in
well, you
wings of the
can
house
you can
never
leave
see.
cats alone for a long time.
Yeah.
like 3 days.
Yeah.
If we were gone for a week, we'd have people go check on them once,
And you're
just to
good.
make sure they have food out.
A dog
Yeah.
needs 3 checks a day.
Yeah, but I like Pip, but I just wanted to have her own place. You know, I wanted to spread her wings and have her own place where we don't have to watch her.
A
All the time.
mother-in-law apartment
Yeah.
for the dog. That's,
But cats, sorry, why did we get on animals sleeping?
I don't know.
I had a cat almost
but-
vomit on me, sleeping on me. That was not good.
That's not good.
And I had a cat claw me. You can see the scar here, actually. This is through a blanket.
You are getting abused.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the cats just really beat you up, and then you still love them. It's
glutton for
bad.
punishment. That's why you like cats.
But enough about it. Sorry, I hijacked this conversation about.
I think it was we were talking about bad roommates and the warmth of the bed, and it led to the dog
to
being
animals
in bed
being in the bed. I don't
and
know.
whatnot.
Yeah, I never really did roommates. I guess I only have animal stories to
You're not
relate
a
with.
roommate. You never, dude. I had roommates for a decade.
No, I lived.
I've got
I mean, I
stories.
was a missionary person. I lived with people as a missionary, but that's different than just being like a normal person.
That doesn't count. Yeah.
But I just lived with my parents until I got married.
Oh, nice.
It's not that weird, you guys.
How long was that? How long was that?
Well, if you factor in my multiple marriages,
I wasn't going to say that. Yikes.
Here we go.
I got married my first marriage when I was 25. I don't know. I've blocked out a lot of years, and I'm healthier and I'm happier now. And I don't really want to go into it.
You're happy, you're healthy, you have 5 cats.
I've got
Something
cats.
doesn't quite add up there.
Doesn't add up. I actually I outgrew roommates before I got married, which is kind of sad actually. Like I always figured like I'd have roommates, and then finally I hit like 35, and I was like, I'm done. And the pandemic ruined it, and he moved out, and I just lived alone. I was like, you know what, this is my life now.
Do you
That wasn't
feel
super
like
long
it's-
though, right?
Yeah.
I think it was a full year before I
full
met
year?
my wife
Okay.
of living alone.
Do you feel like it's good though to have that experience of living on your own?
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
appreciate your wife so much more when you've had to deal with roommates. Like it really does. Like
Right.
there's it's roommates can just. It
Oh,
also
yeah.
it hurt a little because I owned my townhome and I had roommates. So it's like I'm the roommate, but I'm also the landlord.
That's a weird power dynamic.
The power dynamic, it's hard because they're
Right.
like, then you're like, you better do these dishes because this is my kitchen now.
Right, right.
And like we got into it because like I had cleaned the kitchen, and he made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich without a plate, just on the counter. Oh, and this is after 3 straight weeks of living together in a pandemic. And I was like, "Hey, man, I just cleaned the kitchen. You didn't clean this up. I don't want crumbs everywhere." And he's like, "It's not a big deal, man.
Okay.
You've left barbecue sauce on the sink," and I lost it. And I was like, "If I want to spray barbecue sauce on the walls and leave it there, I get to. This is my house. You don't get to. I get to do what I want. You have to do what I say." And we patched up, and we are really good friends still to this day. But it all went down with the PB and J.
PB&J.
in the pandemic.
In the
That's
pandemic.
It's a tough
It caused
time.
divorces and separation of roommates.
Taylor, you seem like a guy that'll make a PB&J with no plate. Is that true?
If it comes down to it. I mean, like,
But at the same time, it's like if you do the plate, then you have to wash the plate. I got his thinking. I get it.
Yeah.
But you still are making a mess.
make it on the bread bag.
Oh.
Make it on the top of the bread bag. That's probably what I would
industrious.
do.
Yeah, but those crumbs are falling off and getting on the table
Getting
after.
into the banana pudding.
I get it now. I
Yeah,
get it.
I understand.
yeah.
I'll do this. I
you have
don't think it's very sanitary as far as just if I want a reheated piece of pizza, I'll throw it on a paper towel. But I think the paper towel's not doing a whole lot to protect it from whatever's at the bottom of the microwave. Is that weird? Or do you guys do that?
I will say that has happened. I'll paper towel things
Yeah.
a lot.
Do you want to hear a crazy story?
Yes.
After the show. I'm just kidding. I was staying at a
Every
hotel,
viewer just stopped listening.
and I had gotten Domino's the night before.
Okay.
And then I woke up, and I had some left over, so I was going to heat some up before I left.
Sure.
But I didn't have any plates in there. I'd just been eating out of the box. But so I wanted to microwave it, so I ripped the Domino's box into a plate form and put a slice on there.
Okay.
Put it in the microwave. But a lot of these pizza places have metal lining going through
Oh no.
For heat.
to keep
Good
the
one.
heat in. And I was talking on the phone to Adrian, my wife, and I see flames in the microwave,
no.
and I'm like, I gotta go, and I open it, and smoke's coming. And I'm watching where the smoke detector is.
Oh, no.
And I'm batting.
With the pizza box?
I think I took like a blanket or something. I'm trying to bat it into the hall. For some, either their fire smoke alarm just didn't work, or I was just really lucky, but it didn't go off. But that was the most stressful I've ever been in a pizza scenario.
Listen, I will never do food without something like a paper towel or a pizza box cover. I will say, though, probably one of the most frustrating things for my wife is I will use, like, the Tupperware lid. Because I don't want, like, and I'll use the lid to, like, heat it up, and then
As a
I'll eat
plate.
off the
As a
Tupperware.
plate?
As a plate. So I will say I will find ways to not use a plate, but I use something.
Yeah.
But and she does not like that because then I'll, once you're done, you put the Tupperware lid back if you don't finish the leftovers. It's a reusable thing. Like it's great. But
I'll be honest, it doesn't happen often. But I have bare crusted pizza just in the microwave without anything underneath it, like late at night.
Oh, you've just gone after.
I just throw it in there, heat it up a little bit, and take it out and eat it.
And then take the microwave plate out.
Just with all of its weird splotches that have been there.
There's already a plate in there. You don't need it. No,
That's
good
what it's
decisions
for,
happen
right?
late at night.
That's so funny. Well, I want to make sure we touch and get to your comedy journey.
Oh, touch. Okay.
I want to make sure we touch, first of all. Okay, I'm satisfied.
You held it so long. I was like, oh, is this a part of the segment? You touch everyone that comes on.
We usually do it off camera, but so where do your comedy beginnings start? Is it always something you wanted to do?
Oh,
did you come to it late?
Is 24 late? I was in college.
Pretty much. That's kind of what we've seen is most people start doing stand up in college.
In college, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd thought about it, obviously in high school, but like, what do you even do? Like, I never really thought that it was something viable. I watched Seinfeld, Chappelle's Show in high school. I was like, that's cool. And then in college, listen, I got into comedy like most people who get into comedy because life isn't going well for you. So I had reached a very low point in my life with the girl that I was seeing and my best friend. They decided to, do some things behind my back, and that didn't go well. So I freed up a lot of time in one night. Like that was like, I have nothing to do now. This is good. So I had always in the back of my mind wanted to do comedy, but I just had never had the guts to do it. So truly, thanks to a roommate, I was, in my depression cloud playing Drive on an acoustic guitar, crying in the corner. And he's like, hey man, you need to pull yourself together. Yes. And he's like, you need to just do something for yourself. You have put so much into this relationship and everyone else. Do something for you, man. Just do that. First thing in my head was comedy. So I was like, okay, if there's ever a time, I'm going to do it now. So I started looking things up on the internet, and I found that back then, Wise Guys did a once a month open mic at the West Valley. It was only once a month.
Oh, wow.
And everything just got put in a bowl. If they pull out your name, they pull out your name. So the first time I ever went to a comedy club, I got on stage. I'd never been to it. I was like, let's just go. So I wrote a couple things during a class, got there, and sure enough, they pulled my name out of the bowl because if you had to bring friends to make sure you got on, and I didn't have any at the time. So I was bowling, if you will. So true story. Rodney Norman was hosting that particular.
He's been on the show. Check out his episode.
Yeah,
Rodney he hosted Norman. My first open mic I went to too.
Yep. And at that open mic, he's like, "Hey, if you guys want to, we have a weekly Thursday night open mic at the Applebee's on University Parkway in Orem." And I was like, "That's such a great idea. Now I can go there every week, and then in a month I'll be good enough for these open mics." Because I did my first set, it was terrible. Obviously, everyone's first set, awful, pity laughs.
Do you remember crickets. Your first joke that you did, or what was it about?
The first joke I think I can ever remember. Yeah, I do remember. It's bad. I don't know why I said I think it. I definitely know the first joke.
Can you tell it on this podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I was a server. I was a waiter at the Olive Garden, and the first joke I ever wrote was about suburban moms taking too long and not tipping well. And that is a terrible premise. Like I basically ranted. It wasn't even a joke. There was no punchline. I was just like, your child's diaper fills up faster than it takes you to eat the soup and salad. Just get out of my way. It was terrible. It was so bad. I remember that's what the premise was, but I don't remember the punchline. It was so bad. Awesome. And so I was like, man, I need to go to the Applebee's open mic night and get good. So that way
this is the same Applebee's that's still there, right?
Still there.
How is this even? Applebee's is always a weird, like, U-shaped.
Yeah, they had a carpet stage in the corner and a DJ type setup. And I go literally 6 days later. And here's the problem. When you go to an open mic, it's a tough crowd. It's a hard crowd, but they're there. What I didn't realize is when you go to a restaurant, nobody wants to hear comedy.
No.
At all. Like, it is harder by 100 times. And I was just like, the minute I walked in and I just saw other people bombing, I was like, this might not be as good of idea as I thought. Like, I don't know why this is happening. So no one wants to talk to you. No one wants to pay attention. They just want to eat their riblets and they want to get out of there. So we start doing these open mics. I did the same jokes. They were terrible. And I was like, okay, I need to figure something out. I need to write new jokes, better jokes. And I started trying to cater to a college town. I remember the second joke I wrote, not any better, was about parking at college, how hard it is. And that I wrote the joke like, I need to have a shotgun with me to deter people from taking the parking spot so I can have it. That it was somewhere, it was bad.
You've always been a violent man.
I've been a violent. Can you tell a lot of my jokes were angry? I was an angry comic at the very beginning. It wasn't good at all. And I did that for 4 weeks, went back to Wise Guys and bombed equally as hard. I was writing new jokes. I kept regurgitating. I was not redoing the same jokes trying to tweak. I just knew they were bad, so I just kept throwing whatever at the wall. Finally, after 6 times going up, 6 weeks in a row, I went up and bombed every single time. I kind of, in my mind, was like, okay, this isn't for me. I'm not going to do stand-up comedy. But I want to write one good joke that a stranger will laugh at, and then I'm out of here. I'm done. So after 6 straight bombings, I wrote my Panda Express public bathrooms joke. I was at Panda Express when I had that realization, and some grumbles happened, and I went to the bathroom, and I literally, it's on my first special, so I think I can talk about it, but it is potty humor. But I had a IBS episode and destroyed a bathroom while another guy was in there, and he sprinted out of the bathroom laughing. And I was so embarrassed, but I was like, is this funny? And I just remember looking down. I was like, I can't get leave now. He knows what my shoes look like. And that was the first punchline I ever wrote that that was good. I wrote that. I went out and I went from super embarrassed. It really happened. Spent another 2 hours in Panda Express writing this out. Took it to Applebee's that week. And I went from bombing, and I'll never forget it. Everyone midway through my 3 minutes stopped eating, turned, laughed, and I got an applause break.
Whoa.
At Applebee's on my 7th time up. Rodney was there, and he's like, dude, do you want to come and work some weekend sets, do 5-minute sets on the weekend? Because there was an Orem Wise Guys. And I said, absolutely. And from there, I never looked back. It was the weird. I went from writing just one good joke to addicted.
That's awesome.
Then I got into doing 5-minute sets. 5 turns into 10. 10 turns to 15. You start hosting. And I honestly I loved it from that moment on. It was kind of a weird thing how it happens.
I can't think of a tougher crowd because how sad you have to be to first be at an Applebee's and then be, surprised into being at an open mic. Also, it's just a brutal combination.
It really was.
Maybe they related to the IBS episode at Panda Express because eating at Applebee's, you're likely to get food poisoning.
Absolutely. And that's where it started.
Here's a bathroom experience I had that's similar to yours.
Oh, no.
No, it won't be too crass. It won't be too crass. But I went into a bathroom as a bathroom that had one stall.
Yeah.
And one like urinal, and then so people could be in there while you're in the stall. But I walked in and it was a disaster, but I really needed to use the restroom. And so just even in the toilet was a disaster. I flushed and it did nothing. It was like it had been there for a while. It was caked on. And I still use the bathroom, and then I didn't know this, but I come out and there's a guy waiting to go in.
Yeah.
And I had this moment where like I need to explain that that's not me.
You have to vouch for yourself.
But I'm like, he's not going to believe me if I say that. So I had this moment where I stared at him and I went, and then I walked by. I never explained it. Because who are you going to believe? Oh, that mess there. I promise you, I was just in there, but that wasn't me. It was there before.
Yeah, that just looks guilty.
Yeah.
Super guilty.
I mean, the size pretty guilty, too.
Yeah, it didn't work out well for me. I hesitated. I should have either just walked out confidently, or I should have explained the whole thing, and I went in this weird mid-zone.
You should apologize to this guy now and set the record straight, finally.
Well, but then I thought about it all day, and I realized that he was probably going to think the same thing and then flush and realize it had been there. Like he would... I would hope that he would, put himself in my shoes and understand what happened. Thank you for this time. I'll explain.
All right, I got a bathroom story.
Okay.
Yes.
I was at a called About Time. It's like a pub
Yep. I've been there.
restaurant.
I believe it's just bout time.
Bout. They don't have an A. Get cool.
I refuse
No.
to call it Bout
Because it has a
Time.
boxing glove. It's playing
Yep.
on we're about to have a bout.
like a boxing bout.
Is that? I didn't even know that word.
No wonder you've been saying it wrong this whole time. He's been like high-roading him. It's about time.
But
yeah,
it's
that's right.
It's a play
That's
on
like an old time word for like a fight. They're
Yeah.
gonna have a bout.
Have a bout.
have a bout. Okay,
But
I
it's
guess
also
I'm in the wrong.
about time you went to their establishment. It's
The
a double
layers on which
entendre.
this title works are so deep and
So, anyways, I was at About Time, and I went in to use the urinal, and there was it said out of order. There was a sign that said out of order.
Sure.
And so someone's using the only other urinal, so I'm waiting, and then a guy walks in, sees it, looks at me, he's like, "I don't give a crap," and then walks up,
Oh.
does his business in the urinal.
Okay.
And then it's my now I have to go stand next to the guy because the urinal, and I come up and stand next to him, and he looks over at me, he's like, "I don't give a crap." And I'm like, first of all, you already said that.
Yeah.
Also, your actions already told that.
Yeah.
that you don't.
I deduced.
It was just. Anyways, I thought that was funny.
He thought he looked so cool in that
I know.
moment. I almost think he staged it. I think he
Yeah.
put the sign there and be like, I'm going to show people how wild I am.
Yeah.
Nothing projects failure in life than like acting that way. Like you're like, I'm going to control this situation and do what I want for the first time all week. No one's
Yeah.
going to tell me where to pee. Like,
Was it covered in like a garbage bag like they normally do? And it was just making them.
No, it was just a paper. The garbage bag. I think he maybe would have even kept this guy at bay.
That's why they invented the garbage bag things. Nobody listens to the sign.
Nope.
No.
They have to put up a
but to be fair,
protective
most of
lining.
those signs are like written in Sharpie last second. They don't look official. You know,
Yeah,
like, you could write
exactly.
any, I will say if a sign is handwritten, I don't necessarily.
Anybody could have put it there.
Yeah, no, this could be a prank. I'm not going to listen to you. You type it out, give me a nice professional font, maybe laminate it, and I'll listen to you.
I'm learning a lot from both of your practical skepticism about
a Sharpie
signs
note,
that are
like-
warning you of things.
Distrust, yeah, of society.
Like, see a Sharpie sign that just says "We refuse the right to refuse service," just written that 2 minutes ago, like before, like I don't have the sign, I don't have it. What do I do? And now
They're
they
always
write
the-
it and like,
It's never the employee with a nice handwriting either.
No,
It's
no.
always just a mess.
it's
Yeah,
half
yeah.
capitalized, half lowercase,
Does
little
that
cursive
say
at the end.
Bout of order?
No,
I'm already using this new vocab word.
They
guys.
should have used that at Bout Time with their logo. Bout of order.
I think it's just a Utah thing, right? That have you heard of
bout.
I don't know.
it? No,
No.
the restaurant. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
Is it
I know it's
like-
a chain.
Oh, it's got to be a chain, but
It's a chain within
maybe
Utah, at least.
it's just a Utah thing.
Listeners in the comments, let us know if you've had
That's a bold thing.
an
to make
about
like
time or about time. around
sports
you.
bar in Utah. That's bold to like. You must
pretty
believe in
packed.
that.
It was
Yeah.
when I've
It's
been.
stuck around. It's been here for a while.
Yeah.
What else do you have to say
It
about it?
outlasted Iggy's. Do you want to talk about that?
Iggy's. I don't know Iggy's.
Oh,
I know,
Iggy's was fun.
Oh, Iggy's was great. You've never been to Iggy's Sports Bar and Grill?
I've been to a restaurant called Iggy's, but it was in Rhode Island, and it was like a clam shack.
No.
Imagine that's not.
No.
Clam shacks aren't booming in Utah.
They had like this sweet
Do
chili
they only
bread.
sell clams at clam shacks?
No.
So they specialize in clams. I've never been
Yeah.
to a clam. I know there's clam houses and clam
Yeah,
shacks.
deep fried scallops and those.
I went to a clam house in New Orleans,
Okay.
and they had other things, but they specialized in it. But they had
Yeah.
like other seafood cuisines.
All right.
But
Thanks for educating me. I just
Yeah.
wanted to
We're
clarify.
all learning something except Paul.
I've learned so much.
Oh, he is.
I didn't know that you could get such a surprise pudding in your fridge if you just left it there. Don't. I've learned. I'm never leaving an open pudding container in a fridge ever again.
Yeah, I'm just picturing somebody like buying ground beef and the drippings falling into that.
Oh my God.
Yes,
terrible.
exactly. And that's the issue.
I will say though, I do think fridges. Not to circle back.
Circle back.
I do think fridges have come a long way because I think all fridges now have like a solid shelf. There's no
Yeah.
the grates.
The
I remember,
grates.
we've all had fridges with grates, absolutely.
sure.
But I don't
Yeah,
think that's a
especially
thing
in
anymore. So you might be safe
roommate
to
situations.
putting in the fridge now.
Fridge technology's come a long
Oh,
way.
yeah.
Some of it
Such
I
a
don't
long
understand.
way.
I don't understand
Yeah.
the TV on the fridge thing.
Well, let's be clear that lids did exist also.
Yeah.
And saran wrap. This guy had options.
He had options.
But if you let
did
it-
he have the budget?
Absolutely
When you make
not.
banana pudding, you got to air it out. You got to let it air
that's
out.
essential. You do want that brown film on the top of it.
I will say I hate banana pudding. So that
Actually,
wouldn't have been a hard thing for me to avoid.
Yeah, I don't mind it, actually. I kind of like it.
I don't like creamed banana, like pie, banana cream pie. No, can't do it. Unless it's a real banana.
Yeah, I don't like the
don't-
banana flavor.
banana
If it's
flavor
a
things?
real, which it was a cook, so I assume it's real bananas going in.
He wasn't an actual cook. He was like he liked to cook. He liked
All
to
right,
make.
amateur chef.
Anyway,
Liking video games and playing on easy mode. He's just doing puddings.
I'm in my pudding phase right now. I like banana pudding, but not enough to ever eat it.
No.
Like more than
I
once
would
a
never
month.
right.
Order
Yeah.
it or pay money for it.
Yeah. Paul, did you have any? You said you watched Seinfeld and Chappelle stuff, but when you first started getting in, did you have any comedy people you looked up to that helped refine your craft by watching them?
Refine my craft. I really, when I started, I really got into Gaffigan.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but he just spoke to me. I loved it.
Yeah.
And listen, I'll say it. I have no problem. I really liked Dane Cook for about a year.
I think all of us. At our age
I
group did.
I understand the hate. I understand where it all went, but I digested Dane Cook. What was it? What was the album?
It was
Harmful if Swallowed.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought it was a great album. I was like, okay, this guy has a high energy. This guy gets. I didn't understand all the hate. I thought it was fantastic. But Gaffigan was really the one that. And then I really got into Bill Burr. Once you get into Bill Burr, Dane Cook fades away for you.
Yeah.
Like you really, then you just start seeing like kind of the tricks of comedy as opposed to like real actual material and like a stand-up set. So
Right.
I will say those three really resonated with me. But I also, one of the nicest interactions I ever had early on in my comedy career, I'll never forget, was Patrice O'Neill. I got to meet Patrice O'Neill.
No way.
Those
He's
guys.
legend. Rest in peace.
Legend. And I absolutely love just talking with him for even, I think it was just like 5 minutes. Like I wasn't on that show. I wasn't good enough at the
amazing.
time, but I got to meet Patrice. I met him and Norm Macdonald were the two when I really started. And I will say, I'll tell you this, Norm was the first comedian I ever spoke to face, like ever true comedian. I had been doing comedy maybe a year. And the owner of Wise Guys was like, hey, come just see Norm. I was like, absolutely, I'm
That's
there.
so cool.
Packed house, crushed for an hour. And I was in the green room and I got to meet him. And he shook my hand. He's like, you a comedian? I was like, yeah, I'm a comedian. And I had just headlined my first show. And I thought I was the stuff.
Yeah.
So, and he's like, and I was like, yeah, I headlined. And he's like, oh, you headlined? How long did you do? And I was like, 45. And he's like, you're not a headliner. And I was like, what? And he's like, if you don't do 60, you're not a headliner. And from that moment, it's been burned. I will always do 60 as a headliner. He's like, Norm Macdonald shut me down.
Brutal, Norm.
That one resonates with me pretty hard. So, but that was my.
I'm jealous of that though. I never got to meet Norm,
Yeah.
but I love Norm. I mean, I'll
Yeah.
go YouTube rabbit holes watching him for
Yeah,
hours.
absolutely.
It's so
100%.
funny.
He's the best.
He had this thing about a tofurkey, and I still cry. It's so funny. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. I died.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those were some of my early influences and like comics that like impressioned me really hard.
Did
those
you
are some big
clarify-
names to meet. That's really cool.
Yeah, Patrice and Norm, that's huge. Did you clarify to your future in-laws that you weren't headlining because you're only doing like 25 minutes?
I made sure to tell them that story, and they
Just
knew.
so you know, it's not a headlining set.
Nope, this is not. I did let them know there's going to be 2 other comics, and they're like, and I'm like, it's a showcase, but you get to see a material from 3 comics, and so they were in. They got there early. They were second row. It was great.
You see their faces the whole time.
I did. Yeah,
It's a little weird. Or were you okay
it
with
is. It is bright on that stage. You
Yeah.
see everyone, whereas like in a real comedy club, the lights are down. And
You can,
can't
see, you can
much.
see the front row, but
Yeah,
not
like
much.
3 rows max, and then it kind of shields a comedian because you think of them as a crowd, not people. And once you
Yeah.
can think of them as a group, your stage, you don't get nervous, you don't get scared, but like when the special and the lights are up and you see every single pupil,
Yeah.
every single smile, you know how you're doing in a hurry. So
Right.
it's a
That's
different
true.
animal, but I like it. I enjoy it because if you do get the opportunity to crowd work, you can talk and pick out anyone you want. You're not just limited.
Yeah,
so there's
that's
pros
true.
to it.
You're not going.
well.
Who's the one that said that thing?
Who said that? You know, 8th row, 10th seat over. It was
Turn on
you.
your cell phone light. Yeah. Well, Paul, it's been a joy to talk with you.
Yeah, we're running
Pleasure
long.
to
Is there
be here.
anything else you wanted to get off your chest or promote before we get you?
I'm starting a YouTube channel myself, actually called.
I've been on it.
You actually have been a
Am I
guest.
allowed to say I'm excited for this
Yeah,
to come out?
absolutely. I know. I'm starting a YouTube channel. You'll see. It's called Best Thing on the Menu. So I'm going around and tasting an entire menu at restaurants to find the best thing on the menu. So starting that up, you'll see that on YouTube. It's going to be more of a YouTube than a podcast, but I'm excited about that project. Been working on that, and you'll see that coming out in 2024.
Paul ordered everything at Domino's, and we had to go pick it up together, and we filled his entire truck
Holy.
with.
Yeah.
What's the bill look like for that?
The bill for that one was $488. It was almost $500. Funniest part about that is like I called them because it kept breaking the online order. I couldn't order everything on the menu, so I had to call them. And I was like, "Hey man, I want to order everything on the menu." And he just stopped. He's like, "You're going to need to say it to me though." And I'm like, "The whole order. I need to know everything you want individually." So I did it about halfway through. And he's like, "You know you're going to have to prepay, right?" I was like, "Absolutely. This isn't a prank. Like, this isn't. No one's going to make $500 worth of Domino's on a whim." So I was like, "I will prepay. I'll pay on them." He's like, "Okay, cool." Like, and at the end, he's like, "All right, you doing this?" I was like, "Yeah." So I paid it. No later than 5 minutes after I had hung up, he calls me back. And I didn't pick up the phone. I have a voicemail. I'll show it to you after. But he's like, "Hey, man, thanks so much for ordering everything. That's super cool of you. Could you just bring the card and a photo ID with you so that way we can, make sure it's you and then we'll give you everything." So, they were worried that I had stolen someone's credit card. And my first impression was like, I'm ordering everything.
Oh, hilarious.
I'm going to go I am getting Domino's.
That's like
like he was worried I'd stolen someone's card.
it's like Kevin from Home Alone's idea of an identity theft.
Can you imagine you get someone's credit card like, I'm ordering everything at Domino's. Like that's
Extra
your first
large
thought.
cheese
Like,
pizza.
I can do whatever I want now.
they were worried Paul Sheffield somewhere had lost his card and someone was just ordering Domino's on his
tired.
behalf.
Oh,
So
man.
that's been actually part of the fun of the show is recording that and getting some reactions. We were famous when we walked in. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're the Paul."
I honestly had anxiety. I'm like, I want to do the show with you, but that part of it of annoying these workers.
Yeah.
But we walked in and they're like, "You're the ones that ordered everything. It's been
Yeah.
such a fun, exciting day."
We got to make the garlic stuffed crust.
We've never done this. They had
Parmesan.
they had something called a pizza cart. They're like, bring out the pizza
bring out
cart.
the
to, they had a pizza cart to help us get everything
my
out to my
gosh.
truck. So, yeah. So
I can't wait to see that.
was
Best thing on
fun.
the menu. You should come on it. I'd love to have you.
Yeah,
If you want
that-
to taste a whole menu, I'm in.
I'm down. Is what's on the docket next? What restaurant are you gonna do?
We can talk about this off camera, but no. I actually like to know, what do you like? Is there a place or a type of food you prefer?
About time.
No, we're not.
Hey, call back,
Hey.
and that's all.
I can't be-
No, I like Dave's Hot Chicken. I love Applebee's. No, I don't love Applebee's, but the producer put that on the thing. What do I like that has kind of a diverse?
What type of
Menu.
food do you like the most? What's Taylor's go-to for food?
I love steak,
Okay.
and I like sushi.
I will say sushi's going to have to be further down the road. I've looked at those. I can't.
Well, just because
do
the
that.
sushi would have to sit for so long
Yeah.
to
Do you want to do a
through.
steakhouse with me?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I'll have you on it. Let's do a steakhouse. You'll be
do
the
it.
first steakhouse. You in?
All right, I'm in.
Done.
Yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Paul. It's
Okay.
been an absolute joy talking to you.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show.
No, thanks
Looking
for having
gigs
me.
over here, Taylor.
Yeah.
Look at you, man.
You get to taste it.
And food.
And food.
And food.
Yeah. You're doing the
What I'm-
dishes though after.
That would be an interesting twist, is if you had to go in and actually make the food
Yeah.
with the people and then
Can
clean
you
up after.
imagine? And then review my cooking's not great.
It's not good. I ruined this.
I have messed up the awesome blossom in a way you don't want to know.
It is no longer awesome.
It's no longer awesome. But thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Of course. And thank
was a great
you,
time.